from Delaney Maple. And the big hit right off the bat from Ava Vickers. Now flying up the back row for Iowa. And a misread there because they were right there at the front line. That's Indiana right there at the front line and serving it right back. No one there to receive it. Just got a little ahead of themselves. Had to be prepared for that later. This time Iowa able to set it up in Gracie Gibson. She thinks she's got a kill there. Thinks it went off the Indiana hands, but the referee called it out. So we're going to go take a look at the monitor already. Not even 2 points into this one. We're going to the monitor.
So about the quickest replay we could get in this one, going to review. And, of course, whether that one was tipped or not, going off the net. It was obviously out of bounds, but it almost I almost felt like I could hear it. It looked like you can see that quick motion there. That's right there up the middle, number 11, Ava Vickers, who went up for the block. But still Jim Barnes and his team hoping to even things out and go ahead early as they're going to get this call out.
And that'll be called for the Hawkeyes. It went off the hands, and like you were saying, Jim Barnes, his third season as head coach for the Hawkeyes. And when he got hired back in 2021, he knew it was going to be a long process to rebuild, but now he's got some young stars. So we look at Joy Gallus here for the Hawkeyes, getting the serve over. Blocked at the net by Wenningstall, but Indiana holding on to control. Malou Garcia blocked at the net. It was Alonso Corcelis with the big block, partnered with Ava Vickers.
Real good straightaway block for Indiana. An interesting thing on them throughout their season so far is they've struggled defensively. They've struggled with the block, so they can get that going today. They could have a real dominant performance.
And a great play there by the Hawkeyes. The fake by Wenningstall setting it up for Michelle Urquhart to get her first kill of the game. Now it'll be Malou Garcia, the star freshman for Iowa, with the serve. And Indiana having to do a quick hit, and it works. A big play there by Cameron Hayworth. Mostly known for her assisting, but she can get it done hitting as well.
Oh, absolutely. She's going to have the team cluing in on the assist like we mentioned there in the open. Joel looking there, and then obviously when you see that in the scouting report, you prepare the middle, then you set up the outside, gives you more open look on the defense.
The other thing she's good at is aces in serving, and there she has a tough serve that gives Indiana an easy hit after the return by the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, but you bring up the aces. She holds that Indiana program all-time aces record with 206 going into the day, so looking to have 2 records in program history, as we mentioned.
This time, though, her serve will go out of bounds, and it'll be a service error for the Hoosiers. Hawkeyes will get it. 4-3, Hoosiers on top. Michelle Urquhart bouncing the ball a couple times before she goes. There's a serve. And a big, powerful hit there by Alonzo Corcelis. He's coming out with some energy early.
A lot of energy, which both teams need, but an interesting idea there from Urquhart just to dump over the serve because that gives Indiana the better chance to return it, and that's something they've struggled with sometimes. If they're able to set themselves up on offense, they're going to look good. You don't want to give them that chance.
Malou Garcia's next with it for the Hawkeyes. She returns the favor to the Hoosiers. We got a little back and forth action going now.
And that's exactly what you expect out of today's contest. 2 teams that are heavily favored offensively, so they're going to return a lot of those kills today.
And Wenningstall with a good serve, but Indiana, the diving effort to save it. Warden now. Picked up by Sell. And the big hit blocked. However, Hoosier just maintaining that control. The Hawkeyes turn there, and Malou Garcia trying to end it. That'll be a violation on the Hoosiers and a point for the Hawkeyes.
Well, things just seem to be moving so quickly on that rally that you almost don't blame Indiana for that error because they were trying to get back set up. They were moving quickly. They were communicating. Just things got a little ahead of them.
Maddie Sells making diving plays on that point. This time it's a quick one for the Hoosiers. Avery Tatum getting the job done. And she's been dealing with a couple injuries this year, but able to play, get some minutes so far in this one. We'll see how much she's active on the court today. The Hoosiers up now 6-5, and here's the serve incoming from Maddie Sell. That's going to be a tough one to get for the Hawkeyes, in an ace for the Hoosiers.
Another good ace for them. Of course, Cameron Hayworth up there, but look at Big Ten records as well. But Maddie Sell, 15 blocks solo. She's a server right now, so playing on both sides, that's what Indiana has a few talented players with. They can play both sides of the ball very well.
Talk about talented players. Alyssa Warden has to be mentioned. She missed last year with a torn ACL that she suffered her senior year in high school. So not being able to play her freshman year, but has came out and has been incredible, especially improving as the season goes on. A powerful hit by the Hoosiers. Will go out of bounds. So the attacking error there gives the Hawkeyes another tie.
Yeah, you look here at the replay. She tried really hard to place it right on that line. She was trying to be almost too exact with it, and with that, she's just too close to the outside. You got to be able to be willing to place it a little bit closer inside.
Jenna Meitzler will serve that one just a bit too far, and that'll be a service error for the Hawkeyes. Meitzler leading the team in assists so far this season. Not able to get it done behind the line. Big hit there from Gracie Gibson. Ties it right back up.
Well, she's been a name that's really been stepping up for Iowa. Gracie Gibson already with a kill on today. She's been phenomenal moving things around. We talked about Hannah Whittingstall. She flies around the court. But Gracie Gibson flies around that front line. She helps out wherever is needed. She fills in the role, but she sets up and knows what exactly is needed per point.
And that hit by the Hoosiers going right into the net and back down on their side. So point for the Hawkeyes, and the Hawkeyes get the lead. That hit blocked by Garcia and Gibson. The Hoosiers able to get it back over, though. Now Garcia trying to get it. The Hoosiers staying in control. Urquhart's turn, and Urquhart will get the kill. And the Hawkeyes get a 2-point lead.
Well, their first lead already capitalizing off a point. That's what you need if you're Iowa. Stay settled in, get the ball over the Urquhart, and she reads it well. She knows she can't do anything too aggressive with it. She gets a lot of spin on the ball. That's smart thinking there from Urquhart.
And now Urquhart yet again. This time the Hoosiers able to dig it out. And now Garcia just touching it over. The Hoosiers, they're playing with a lot of chaos right now, but doing it well. And there it goes off the hands of Gibson and out of bounds, and the Hoosiers get the point.
Chaos is the exact word right now, Joel. I mean, I think both teams had the same scouting report on each other because both teams are pretty similar. You talk about Iowa's outside hitters. Well, Indiana has some good outside hitters. You talk about the assists for Indiana looking for a record today. Well, look at Iowa. They've got some people who can set it up there. You got the libero, Joy Gallus, who gets a lot of digs out there. Two teams that are very similar. They're going to be moving quickly and energized because they're both offensive-oriented.
And that's going to be an ace for the Hoosiers. Delaney Maple with her first ace of the day, tying it up for the Hoosiers.
And you want to be more aggressive when you're offensive oriented. When the other team struggles a little bit on defense, so you try to get them off guard and earn a few little cheap points.
And that one misjudged by Joy Gallus. It'll fall down in play for another ace, so back-to-back aces for Maple. Maple looking for another one, but the Hawkeyes will get it back over the net. Gallus sets up Garcia. Garcia will have that fine ground, and it's a kill for Milou Garcia.
Already you look at the stat sheet today. 8 kills for Iowa, 6 for Indiana. And you just look at the season stats coming to the day. Indiana 12.6 kills per set. Iowa 12.3 kills per set. That's why we're seeing the back and forth in that stat. And we're going to see it the entire day. They are very similar in about every aspect of the game.
The service error there for the Hawkeyes, giving the Hoosiers the point and back in possession of Indiana. And a winning stall blocked at the net. Iowa keeping it alive. Same story there for Urquhart. A third time blocked at the net. Garcia's try off the hands of the Hoosiers and a point for the Hawkeyes.
Really good read there because Garcia was going to try to float that over towards the back line, but because she had those front line blockers, she knew trying to go over top of them was a smart call instead of going right into them, trying to tack on that line. She needed to angle her hit and go across the court.
Garcia's serve will go out of bounds, though, for the third service error of the day already for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, and when you're going as back and forth as you are between Indiana and Iowa, because the teams are so similar, those errors are going to add up quickly and give the other team such an advantage to go on a potential roll that could really hurt you later in the set.
The waiting stall will hit it. In the back of the court, the Hoosiers able to catch up to it. And the attack error by Corsellis will get the Hawkeyes the point.
Gibson right there for that straightaway block, and that feeds into the head of Indiana. They're right there. They're looking for that straightaway, but then it gets in their head, so they're trying last minute to go across the court. Don't have enough time to read where the open spot is. Instead, just sail it way too far over. That's what happens when you get a little chaotic and you get a little ahead of yourself. You panic, and that's when you lose some points when you don't have time to set yourself up.
That's something the Hawkeyes are looking to avoid. They had 40 total errors in the loss against Northwestern on Sunday, including 11 service errors. So a good serve there by Urquhart is more of what Jim Barnes wants to see. The hit will go out of bounds, and it'll be a point for the Hawkeyes.
And that's something you expect Indiana to settle in with throughout the day. They've been struggling on those cross-court hits so far, but usually they're not going to be like that. They know where to hit their spots. As soon as they see the open blemishes on Iowa's defense, they're going to settle in quickly and add those points onto the scoreboard.
That one blocked at the net by Whittingstall and her friend Alyssa Warden, Hawkeye, the head coach.
Yeah, really turning things around there. You see his record 94 and 111, so not a winning record for him, but he's still done a lot of good things for this program. Closely to getting them to a winning season this year. He's turned things around, and it's a lot harder to do that with a program in the Big Ten with how many teams are so good. Got to give him credit for really getting this team in a good spot. 12-12 on the season, looking for a winning record in Big Ten play.
He's looking to get another win here, but we'll have a lot of work on the court for them to do as the Hoosiers get back on the board, now only down one. Of course, the first set, we both know, is very important to get ahead 1-0.
Absolutely it is, especially when you look at the record for Iowa in their first sets. They typically do a lot, and I mean a lot better when they win that opening set.
Whittingstall looking for it, and she got it. Going from the center to the outside, Whittingstall gets on the board with her first kill of the night.
And to emphasize for Iowa winning their first set, when they win that first set, they're 7-1 in those matches. When they lose, they're 2-15. So they really want this one if they want to see things play out the normal pattern.
So they definitely look to continue this hot start. Alyssa Warden touches it over, but the Hoosiers maintain control. Alyssa Warden trying yet again, and that'll bounce off the Hoosier front line and out of bounds. The Hawkeyes get the point. And we're going to get a timeout called here after a couple of big kills for the Hawkeyes. The Hoosiers want to talk things over.
Real smart from Alyssa Warden there. You saw the replay going across court. She had someone right in first, especially after a season where you don't even play, and you come into the Big Ten and you put up the number she has and you play as confidently as she does. That's a really special thing for Iowa. She's got to be a leader behind the scenes for this team with her playing confidence.
And she's part of that strong, young, underclassmen core of Hannah Whittingstall, Malu Garcia, Jenna Meisler, and, of course, Alyssa Warden. Winning Stall gets the serve off for the Hawkeyes as we are back in action. Hawkeyes lead 17-14. Alyssa Warden trying to make it more, and that will be a net violation by the Hoosiers. So the Hawkeyes get the point.
As weird as it sounds, they almost draw in that error from Indiana by playing quickly and then slowing down right before the hit, trying to find a campfire, but instead Indiana flies forward, and of course the attack error.
And this time a big block by Alyssa Warden, and she is fired up.
I have not seen a more excited celebration with that straightaway block. Warden right there. She has been a star in this first set.
She's really finding her own spot on the team these past couple of weeks, as Indiana will answer there with a Delaney Maple kill. But the Hawkeyes' vibes are high right now as they lead 19-15 here in the first set.
Gracie Gibson there going for the block for Iowa. It almost seemed like she was guessing what she wanted to do, whether she was going for a straightaway or trying to angle her block or just set up her team. And with that, the hesitation, her hands were spread apart, and that's why the ball goes straight through. It's a lot of power behind those hits from these Big Ten teams, especially Indiana and Iowa. So you got to be there, make your decision. Gracie Gibson a little behind on it.
And a decision made by Malou Garcia, but she won't be able to put that in bounds. It'll go out of bounds, and the Hoosiers will get the point, showing some signs of life here as they kind of let that lead get away from them, and they were down 4. Now a 3-point game, and the Hoosiers looking to continue to scratch back. And that'll be an attack error on the Hawkeyes. I believe a lift on the Hawkeyes, actually. So the Hoosiers now only down 2. Alyssa Warden going right back at it, right down the middle. And Warden will get the kill.
That's it. That's an answer back right there for Warden after the lift call and then firing right back with a really strong kill on the outside. We would have expected this from Urquhart or Malou Garcia. She does this all the time, but not with the numbers she has already here in this first set, already adding up about 4 kills.
Malou Garcia setting it up this time, and Alyssa Warden going right back at it. Her 5th one of the day.
5 kills for Warden. My goodness, the confidence that she has today, as we look at a replay here, that's the answer back that you get from the confidence. When she's not right there on the line, she gets a little bit more power, so it hits off the hand and backwards, not able to return cleanly from Indiana.
And here's Malou Garcia looking to help out the Hawkeyes a little bit as well. She's also just got her 5th kill to give the Hawkeyes a 5-point lead, and Indiana is good here,
but at the same time, she helps out where she's needed. You could technically classify her as a role player for this team, but she fits in well. She helps out where it's needed. She knows where to be on the court, and that's what Iowa needs sometimes. When they let the game get away from them, they're out of position, especially defensively. So for her to be in the right spot, that's why they have the lineup they do out there, and that's why they've been consistent here in the first set.
And here is Meisler with the serve, going off the top of the net, but the Hoosiers handling it. Meisler digs it out, and it's going to be Alyssa Warden trying for it again. Hoosiers got it. Big hit off the hands of Gibson and Garcia. It is Morgan Geddes getting on the board here with her first kill of the day. And Mady Starr is here with the serve. There's Gibson in the middle, hitting it to the outside and finding the ground for the kill.
It's tough there for Indiana's defense because on that front line, when you go up for a block, you typically want 2 of your defenders right there because then you can go for the straightaway or back or the angle. But with only 1 person there, she's got to make a tough decision and actually read the ball, which is extremely tough to do with that split-second decision. That's why you get the quick point.
Melissa Warden served there. Mishandled by the Hoosiers. Batted around and into the net. And the Hawkeyes now 1 point away from winning this first set. Here's the serve from Warden. Hoosiers try to keep it alive. They won't. The block from Gibson will do it for the Hawkeyes. And Iowa will start out leading 1-0. Cameron Hayworth, she's already got 5 assists today, so not really her usual level of play so far, but still looking to break that record soon. For the Hawkeyes, Alyssa Warden continuing her very, very good day with a big ace right there.
Yeah, just a note on Cameron Hayworth, only 8 more assists needed, so go back to that 10 assists per set. This could be the one we officially see the Indiana program career assist record broken.
The Hawkeyes with the big hit there, but Indiana able to get control. And blocked by the Hoosiers. Mady Saris with the big play there.
Well, one thing this Iowa team does with their outside hitters, they typically fly in almost from out of bounds and then try to go across the court. So really good read there from Saris, because you can see her with the angle block going not all the way across court, but away from Urquhart. Because if it would have gone right back to her, she would have had to get it right back and set things up for Indiana. So a good read there to get the easy point.
And Gracie Gibson will get that point right back to the Hawkeyes. It's Gibson's 4th kill of the night.
You see the back and forth continuing again. That quick setup from Meitzler all the way there over to Gibson.
And the Hoosiers there mishandling that one. This is the dig and the hit going out of bounds.
And that was a huge issue in that first set when Iowa started to run away with it. Indiana mishandling things when they're receiving a lot of the serves, mishandling things on defense. And with that, they're going to slowly fall away again in the second set.
And the Hawkeye hot run continues. Here, Iowa up 4-1 with Joy Gallus serving for the Hawkeyes. Indiana stops the run by the Hawkeyes. Mady Saris yet again getting in on the action. That's her first kill of the night, but she has been very prevalent in that front row so far.
Well, if you're Indiana, you definitely want at least 2 points here to tie things up, because they're a very streaky team, whether they're on the wrong side of it or the good side of it. For Iowa, that makes them a streaky team, because when Indiana's doing bad, Iowa's going to do good, and vice versa. When Indiana looks good, Iowa's going to struggle a little bit. So they had a few scoring runs in that first set. They opened up with a bit of a scoring run, a small one, but a bit of a scoring run here in the second set, already getting it back. This could be a quick one if they continue on that streakiness with Indiana on the wrong side of things.
And Garcia's serve will bounce off the Hoosiers and out of bounds. That'll be an ace for Garcia.
There it is, already 4 service aces on the day for Iowa, which beats Indiana's 3. Not too many yet on the day, but if those add up as well, I mean, think of all the other stuff that opens up, because Indiana won't even have a chance to set things up. And once they finally do return a volley, well, then Iowa has a whole nother plan that Indiana it won't be ready for.
However, Garcia there, her serve will go out of bounds. So the service error, the 4th one for the Hawkeyes as well. It will give the ball back to the Hoosiers. And the Hoosiers down 3, needing to go on a little run here to get back in it.
Seems like no one wants a clean streak yet in the second set.
And it's Delaney Maples' turn for an ace.
May I speak too early? Well, see here, that's a really clean ace there. She didn't try just dumping it over, but put some power behind it. Didn't try putting it too hard. Didn't try having too much spin, but enough there to go towards that back line, which Iowa's left a little bit open today.
Iowa this time getting underneath it, and Urquhart sending it over. Indiana sends it right back to Iowa. Nothing to come from it, though, and this time a big hit from Alonso Corselis.
Well, we'll see if Jim Barnes challenges it. I would not assume so, but he came out a little bit questionable whether that one was tipped or not. Looked like a decent call, but we see the replay here. It almost jumps off of Whittingstall's hand. Meitzler there on the left side also going up for the block, but that's why you try to go for those cross-court hits there on the outside more often than not.
And Hannah Whittingstall finding the empty space on the Hoosier side.
Well, if you're not happy with the call, all you can do is return with a point of your own. Control the controllables is important for both sides. Jim Barnes has talked about it throughout the season, but I think any coach would tell you that. So you can control what you can. Hannah Winningsall there all year long has been great with each side, of course, defensively with the blocks, but seeing those open spaces, she's really good with her eyesight and finds it there again.
And there is another service error for the Hawkeyes. That's their third one of this set already. Diving effort from Dallas, keeps it alive. And Winningsall sends it over. A violation on the Hawkeyes. And the Hoosiers tie this one up.
Well, those are the little things that can frustrate you, and you don't want them to build on top of each other. You want to move past it if you're Iowa, because if they do build on top of each other, you give Indiana that streak, and those little things will frustrate you because you want to be able to lose points on stuff you try and not just things that you don't give Indiana the chance to earn it on.
And Winningsall there getting her third kill. Iowa's done a pretty good job so far today responding to anytime Indiana gets going. Winningsall with a good serve, but Indiana controls it and gets it over. And the block there by Maddie Sell gives Indiana the point.
That took a little second to fall. Maddie Sell was confused whether they were actually going to call it for a second because she turned around a little early, but I like that you bring up the response from Iowa today, because there's going to be issues like that where they have a misread. Meitzler wasn't able to get it up, as you see in that replay, but the response has been one of the most impressive things, because there's times where they don't respond well and they get down on themselves and let other teams go on a good streak, and that buries them deep in a set.
And that's a good response from the Hawkeyes there. Alyssa Warden continuing her great start to the day. That's her 6th kill, and it puts the Hawkeyes back on top. And another big hit from the front, Maddie Sell. Having a great second set for the Hoosiers.
Quickly up the 3 kills now. That ties the team lead. Quickly just finding yourself a stable spot for this team. They haven't found anyone to stand out yet. They need someone to go on a little run, bring that energy, but also build that leadership and confidence so someone can go on a run.
Candela Alonso Corselis with the ace off of the hands of Joy Gallus. Indiana will get the lead here 10-9. And a big point there for the Hoosiers, and another assist for Cameron Hayworth. That will be her 9th one of the day, so inching closer to that record.
4 away, but you see there a little bit further back, you get some power on it, then a late read there from Garcia going up for the block, wasn't able to get some support on her side, so not much there to return with.
The big hit there from Gibson, bouncing off the Hoosiers and out of bounds.
Well, that was huge for Iowa because Indiana started going on a pretty good run for themselves there. They had, of course, Corselis back there. She's 3rd on the team coming in today with service aces. And then overall, just setting things up, feeling a little bit more clean. We'll see if they can transition that after losing a point.
And Gallus keeping it up, one diving effort. The Hoosiers looking for it. Now it's Urquhart's turn. Nothing to come of it. Here's Urquhart yet again, off the net. And finding the ground and bounce.
Well, speaking of transitions, that's something this Iowa team has seemed to do very well throughout the day. Whether they've returned something on defense and set up for a strong offense there, Michelle Urquhart was set up there defensively in the right position, then flew out to the outside, knew where she needed to be to set up her team, and that's something that you can only get from practice.
And there's Alyssa Warden yet again, her 3rd ace of the day. And that one gives the Hawkeyes the lead. Big hit from Saris. Batted out of bounds by Gallus. And this one's tied up at 12.
Here's the point where you can win or lose this second set, whether you're Indiana or Iowa. A real pivotal point in the middle of the set. You're tied up. It's been a little back and forth. Iowa's had some control. Indiana took some of that control back. So here's the part where you buckle down and determine how much energy have you had in practice. How prepared are you coming into the day? How prepared are you in the film room? And how ready were you throughout the entire season? It's a lot building up in this moment.
And Garcia with the kill there, bouncing off the blocker's hands. The Hawkeyes respond.
I think the most important part here, if you want to take control, is just believing in yourself and your team. You don't want to play outside of your game. That's why Malou Garcia seems so calm and collected there. They know it's a big spot, but that's what she has done all season long. You can't try to make the moment bigger than it is and play collected and calm and within yourself as a team.
And that hit there from Saris going out of bounds and giving the Hawkeyes another point. Oh, powerful hit from Vickers. Hayworth with her 11th assist on that one.
Well, that's the explosiveness you need right there for Indiana. And we talked about transitions for Iowa from defense to attack on offense, but sometimes from offense to defense, they're a little bit slower in that department. So getting real quick with their efficiency for Indiana will be huge to steal some points away from the Hawkeyes.
And another big point for the Hoosiers, Delaney Maple tying this one up.
Just when Iowa thought they were settling in and starting to take a lead once again, Indiana staying right there. They're a strong enough team top to bottom with their roster, whether it's their talent or their mentality, to know that they can climb back no matter the situation.
And a point for the Hawkeyes there will send us to a media timeout. For the Hawkeyes and Indiana battling back and forth in this one. It's 15 to
Gracie Gibson, Kenna Prescott, and Hannah Whittingstall have all been phenomenal for this team. You see some more minutes down there at the bottom for Whittingstall and Gibson. A few less games for Amaral and Prescott. But all of them have contributed in a big way. You bring in teams from a lot of different programs. It's hard to adjust, especially when Iowa's going through a rebuild. Year 3 of the Jim Barnes era. To get teams to settle in and focus on the chemistry that they're building and buy-in is very difficult. And they're not just role players for this team, but they're stars. You talk about Joy Gallus in the Big Ten standings. Well, she's second in digs with 372 coming into the day.
And Indiana getting on the board here after the break and tying this one up with the kill. And Hannah Whittingstall, the transfer, like we said, with the big kill for the Hawkeyes.
We talk about Joy Gallus being really good, but what about Hannah Whittingstall? She does about everything. She flies around the floor. That's why you see her coming up from the backside around to the outside of the ball. She doesn't just fly up and try to get around with her hand, but she gets her whole body around. That gives her a better look to see the defense in front of her and a better position to make an easier hit, but still a strong one on her end.
And there is Michelle Urquhart with an ace. She leads the team in aces and came into this one ranked 7th in the Big Ten for aces this season. The Hoosiers handle this one in the big hit. Returned by the Hawkeyes. Hoosiers keep it alive. That's set up. And that'll be a kill. And that will break the record for Cameron Hayworth. She is now the Indiana leader for career assists in the rally era.
That passes Megan Solomon from the 2013-2016 era for the Indiana team. A really cool note for Indiana. Finally, a program record broken. Her second one she now holds as a Hoosier. Really cool stuff there.
And now the Hoosiers can really shift their focus into this game as they just got a big point there. And that will tie it up 17 to 17.
well, not only Indiana shifting their focus, but what about Cameron Hayworth? You got to know that was hanging over her head a little bit. She knew coming into this contest that it was most likely going to happen, so she can revert her focus away from that, get that out of her head, and focus on doing what's best for the win today. She's looked good overall. I don't want to say it's deterred her from anything she's done, but at the same time, she can focus on the main objective, the win today against Iowa.
Yeah, and statistically, I mean, she had 5 assists in that first set. This set, she's already got 8, so she's been playing much looser and has really helped Indiana battle in this one as they have just tied it up yet again at 18.
4 hits there for Iowa. They weren't able to recover there on the backside. Indiana moving a lot quicker. And some interesting things. Iowa seems like the past few points they've had a lot of trust in their defense, which is playing a lot better today than it has typically in the past. But with that, Indiana still has returned a lot of volleys. So wonder if Iowa's going to change their game plan, because with trusting their defense, they trust their offense to step things up. Indiana's just also responded on the past few points.
And there's Alyssa Warden with a response, letting us know that she hasn't gone anywhere. That's her 7th kill.
I mean, how could she go anywhere? Alyssa Warden having a fantastic day so far, helping Iowa get back in the lead. That's her 7th kill, as you mentioned, Joel, I believe, tying the team lead with Malou Garcia. It's been a dual threat for them, and Indiana has a lot more things to focus on than just the typical few suspects.
And that one blocked by Warden. Indiana trying it again. Saris not able to get it past the Hawkeye blockers. Iowa setting up Alyssa Warden. Trying to touch that over. And the hit will go just a little too far for Alonzo Corsellas.
Well, just to keep talking about Alyssa Warden, not exactly on that play, but just a note, as we said already,
Important is the second set for Indiana.
well, for Indiana, it's extremely huge because they have been in a lot of close contests lately. You look at their past few matchups against 20th ranked in the country USC, 9th ranked Purdue. They lost 3-1 in both of those, but they were close in the 3rd and 4th set with both teams. They want to get this one so they can keep those close sets and not fall behind, try to claw back and set 3, 4, and potentially 5 if they're able to bounce back.
And that's a good start there for the Hoosiers if they want to get back on top in this set. They'll bring it to a 1-point deficit right now after that kill.
It'd be hard for Indiana to give Iowa all the momentum of winning the second set because there's momentum within the points, sure, but knowing you're down 2-0, even if it's not at the top of your mind, subconsciously you know it's a really hard battle, especially when you've struggled in the year. They're 12-12 overall, but 5-9 in Big Ten play. There's no easy wins in the Big Ten, no matter what, especially on the road.
There's Warden with the serve. Malou Garcia reeling back but blocked by the Hoosiers. She'll try it again, and this time it'll work just like the last point. Bouncing off the Indiana blockers and out of bounds. The Hawkeyes up 3.
It seemed like a late read from Indiana going up for the block because when they go for that angle, you see there she wasn't able to get around it, was too far inside for the block, and instead angles it backwards. She tried going straight away, but since she's still moving towards the outside, the ball moves with her hand and out of play.
Urquhart with the block and a little deflect off of Hawkeye. Looks like Gibson there, not ready for it. And the Hoosiers able to respond.
Another really good response coming out of some timeouts. That's exactly what you need if you're Steve Aird in this Indiana Hoosiers team, because you set up a new game plan and you need to execute that immediately before Iowa has a chance to regroup, reset, and adjust their game plan and throw everything back off. So Indiana coming out quickly is huge, especially when they need this second set big time.
And Luca Fickle will continue this little run the Hoosiers are on with the big ace. And that'll cause Jim Barnes to call a timeout for the Hawkeyes.
Here again today, you mentioned Saris with 5 kills. You also look at Hayworth with 16 assists. You can see 3 digs from Corsellas and Maple. So it's not just everyone involved in general, but it's everyone filling out different parts of the stat sheet, contributing in different ways. They're simultaneously working as a team. As simple as that sounds, they're meshing well together on the court today, which is exactly what you need when you want to finish the season strong, as Indiana certainly wants to do, looking for those back-to-back winning seasons.
Of course, Iowa making it a really tall task to take them down at home, as Iowa looks to close it out here. The big hit from Gracie Gibson puts the Hawkeyes up 23-21.
And you mentioned making it real hard to win at home. Iowa, that's what they're doing so far. But Indiana, 3-7 on the road this year. And Gibson there on the inside, going to the right. She knew where the defense was set up, and that is from the confidence they've had overall today.
And Indiana now going to call another timeout here, as Iowa has gotten 2 points away from winning this set. So when we come in the year 4-2, get that winning record, but Iowa making it tough. They're playing very efficiently through these first 2 sets of play.
And you look at the box score right now between these two teams, specifically the hitting percentage. That's something we really have not talked about with these teams. Iowa 439 on the day, but Indiana only 220, a drastic difference there between these two teams. You look at them overall this year, Indiana 209, and then Iowa 203. That's been pretty even, but Iowa is accentuated in that today, and that's why they've been out to a quicker start and some better leads.
And Indiana trying to get some points there, and they will. Saris able to sneak that inbounds with the kill.
Again, coming out of an Indiana timeout, you draw up the game plan. Steve Aird sees the court in front of him, knows what he wants from the team, so it's really good for them to execute on that game plan. That's all you ask for from your players, and of course when they do that, you're going to keep it as a really close second set.
Lou Garcia just going to touch it over, but Indiana able to control it. A big point here for this set. The Hawks up 1. There's Urquhart. Picked up by the Hoosiers. And blocked by Whittingstall and hit out of bounds. The Hawkeyes get the point and are now 1 point away from winning set number 2.
There's the IQ again, the double block. You typically have one going for the straightaway and one for that angle. Malou Garcia catching it hard with the spin.
Here is Garcia with the serve, looking to clinch this set for the Hawkeyes. Hoosiers, the big hit, dug out by Gallus. There's Whittingstall touching it over, and it finds the ground. The Hawkeyes take the first 2 sets. This one, 25-2, when the team's really good at blocking, but Iowa just played so efficiently, not letting Indiana get anything going. And Indiana will start the 3rd set down 2-0 overall, and down 1-0 in this one after the service error.
And that's just a beautiful product of this Indiana team and what they typically do. It's nice going into this match where Iowa's gotten a lot of blocks where they're unable to typically do in the past, but getting it to other people, that's what this Indiana team does pretty well in most matches. So to do that again today, something they're used to. Don't have to make that adjustment on the fly.
Tapped over by the Hoosiers. The Hawkeyes control it, and Hanny Whittingstall missing that one, but it works out for the Hawkeyes.
Now working out there is Whittingstall, as you mentioned, was going for it quickly and then just a little too far in front of it. And because of that misread there, it throws him off a little bit offensively. But the nice thing with her, she didn't let it get to her, stayed within herself, and got back to set up defensively and force that error on Indiana.
There's Whittingstall yet again. Having a little trouble getting solid contact on the ball. But the Hawkeyes continuing this point, and Urquhart going to get the kill for the Hawkeyes. Hawkeyes getting started early in this one, up 3-0, tasting a sweep.
And it's huge for them to get up early because they know Indiana, of course, we mentioned it a few times, can be a very streaky team. And when they go on a longer positive streak for the Hoosiers, it's going to add up quickly. So to get that early lead gives them that cushion there in the middle of this 3rd set.
Here's Garcia tapping it over, faking the Hoosiers out. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or an accident, but man, that fooled that Hoosier front line.
I think that was a pure purpose read from Malou Garcia because she wanted to go with that strength. She has a lot of power, but you see there, she starts to go up and slows down because she saw the two blockers right there. So she knows if she goes down a little bit and then just taps underneath the ball, sends it over, it's going to fall into that campfire space. Malou Garcia showing off the immense volleyball IQ on that play. A lot of players in the country at any class, much less just a freshman in the Big Ten, can pull off a play that exciting.
And Garcia, of course, only has 2 errors on her way to 10 kills already. And this time, an ace for Joy Gallus.
My goodness, about everything firing for this Iowa team, going on an early run defensively, setting themselves up, getting back in position to change things around with this team, but to regroup things and settle back in. Of course, as you said, Joel, knowing that there's still a lot of fight left, and you can climb back against this Iowa team.
Yeah, and you talked about the volleys there. Ramsey Gary, the libero for the Hoosiers, she only has 7 digs today, and she leads the team and is 4th in the Big Ten with 365 digs. So that's something the Hoosiers got to get going here if they want to stay in this one and battle to a 4th set. And a big hit by Alonzo Corselis, trying to put some energy into this Hoosier team.
Now, there any way you can feed into this Indiana team, you got to have a big power play there from your outside hitter, finding the campfire. That's the best point Indiana could have gotten because there is that energy. With that strength there, it builds up, and that's exactly what Indiana was looking for coming out of a timeout.
Here's Garcia. The Hoosiers getting control, playing a little more relaxed right now, and there's the hit. A little miscommunication there from Gallus and Warden, and Indiana gets the benefit of that.
Well, you can almost feel it on those strong plays if you're in Indiana, the strength of their hits so far. It almost just, you feel it in your bones, your muscles, so it gets you energized. And with that, they play a little bit smarter and cleaner. So that was a smart hit there. Just got the tip, and Iowa not able to return it.
The big hit from Garcia going to be out of bounds, but the Hawkeyes looking for Jim Barnes, trying to get him to challenge it. He says no, we'll play on. Hoosiers battling back in this one, only down 3-5 now after starting down 5-0. Here's Urquhart trying it again. Picked up by the Hoosiers. And the big hit from Maddie Saris will give the Hoosiers the point. That's Saris' 8th kill today.
That's why I talked about at the beginning of the set, Iowa going on a 5-0 scoring run. They need that cushion because a little bit later, Indiana was going to get on a streak, on a positive one, and climb back, and they've done that already quickly. So Iowa, they have that cushion to still lead, but of course, they can't let it slip away as strongly as they already have.
And that lead has officially slipped completely away as Hannah Whittingstall has the attack error, hitting it out of bounds. And it is now 5-5. The Hoosiers have battled back. Urquhart trying to get some points back for the Hawkeyes, and she does. Michelle Urquhart with the kill.
Maybe a statement there from Michelle Urquhart and the Hawkeyes, because if you're Jim Barnes, you want to regroup with your team and tell them that, hey, you're up 2-0 in the sets. You went on a 5-0 scoring run, but you can't just act like you've won already. You still have a lot of work to do. This is an Indiana team who is still very strong, has some good wins in Big Ten play, some good competition. So you got to make sure you're still playing at the top of your game. That's Jim Barnes' goal right now.
And another point there for the Hoosiers, bouncing it off Hannah Whittingstall. And it's back to a tied game, and this is something that Indiana has struggled with. But Iowa is the one who's given up a big lead. Indiana was up late in 2 sets against USC and wasn't able to pull through against what would have been a great win for the Hoosiers against the number 20 team in the country at the time. Hoosiers serve will go out of bounds, and there's a big service error for the Hoosiers.
When you mentioned their past 2 contests, which we've brought up for Indiana a few times, letting some sets slip away, and, well, it's not like they're at a tied set right now, but at the same time, they've let sets 1 and 2 slip away from them. Iowa was in control. They played a great game. I'm not saying it was Indiana's set to lose, but at the same time, they let things get away, let Iowa control some of that scoreboard a little bit too long.
And there's Hannah Whittingstall with the big kill. That'll be her 8th one so far.
You see her there ready for the block, but immediately adjusting her mindset to go up for the set and for the kill there, And of course, she already knows where the open spot is when she goes for the block, and of course can adjust quickly. That's why she flies around all over the place and contributes on both sides.
And Maddie Saris with the kill, bouncing it, rolling it really on the net. And really the net helps her out there, gets the Hoosiers the point as they get back to being down only 1.
7th player out there for Indiana on that point.
And a big out-of-bounds serve for the Hoosiers, another service error. As they tie the Hawkeyes, both have 5 service errors on the day.
Could argue that's the 7th player for Iowa. The backcourt service aces, as you mentioned, 5th for Indiana on the day. Those are things you can't afford when you want to go on a run, which Indiana has gone on already and was close to going on another one. Those things can really hurt you in the long run.
And a violation there on the Hawkeyes, so the Hoosiers get the point. Another error coming up. Iowa, they played really cleanly.
Oh, yeah.
So far today with errors. They struggled with that last week with 40 total errors against Northwestern and 21 of those being attack errors. But today, they've really limited that to only 7 attack errors so far. There's Warden finding the ground and getting her 8th kill of the day.
Good to see another clean point there, because this is not the match you want to see succumb to. A lot of errors, blocking errors, attack errors. So good for Warden there to settle back into herself, get back on the board with another kill. She's been a little quiet there after the first set, but has still contributed in a lot of different ways. She's now back to her offensive contributions.
And Gibson trying to go up the middle with it. Won't happen this time, but the block from Gibson and Garcia. It goes out of bounds. That's going to be an instant challenge by the Hawkeyes and Jim Barnes.
Oh, yeah, they're going right there. Quick conversation, and he finally pulls the card for that review. As you mentioned, Joel, that one seemed like they wanted it immediately. You look over at Jim Barnes, was asking for some help there. Players immediately wanted. Brian Yale, associate head coach for Iowa, immediately told him, hey, you've got to make this call right now to go for the challenge.
Yeah, Yale definitely the biggest advocate there for the challenge.
Oh, yeah, he was up and down.
Yeah, he wanted it bad. We will take a look here. It's going to be a close one on the line right behind. Maybe like a touch on the Hoosiers, potentially.
They're looking, I think the immediate call was for the tip. At least that's what Brian Yale immediately looked for. You see here the review going up top. There's the block, and as it goes down, you can see clearly out of bounds right there where it is. But because it falls so far out from where they originally were, look at where they're standing with the block. A little bit further in, going towards that line, but because it falls a little bit further, you see there, it looks like it was tipped because it had such a more trajectory than originally planned on there. You look down that immediate line, going down, and then as it kicks out a little bit further, it looks like it would land a little bit closer to that line and then kicks out.
And that is exactly what they saw at the board. The Hawkeyes get the point, get the reversal on the call, and the Hawkeyes now lead 11-8. Nice little swing in the Hawkeye favor.
And shout out to our looks there from our camera crew and replay operator. A good look there to see exactly what happened on that play and exactly what Brian Yale and Iowa saw immediately with that point.
Meitzer with the serve as the Hawkeyes look to get a little run going and put this game out of reach. Urquhart with some hustle, but it won't matter. Iowa not able to get to that one. The Hoosiers get the point and get the point back.
We've talked about a few times today where Iowa defensively has not always been in the best position, and you can argue that a few times, but I think they were set up well on that point, just not exactly with what would have happened. It would have been hard for them to return that volley there. They've been set up well. It's just that specific point was just a little awkward for them defensively.
Here's Garcia, picked up by the Hoosiers. Alonso Carcelis gets digged out by Joy Gallus and the Hawkeyes. Hitting it out of bounds, the Hoosiers get the point.
No one's going to go away in this third set. We could see an exciting third here at Extreme Arena. Of course, Iowa leads 2-0, but the pressure for Indiana to climb back, Iowa get a sweep, which they haven't felt in a long time, could be a really cool finish.
Here's Warden tapping it over. A little trouble there for the Hoosiers, but they got it. And the hit out of bounds. Lady Saris set up in the back. Put a little too much on that one.
A little too much there, but you talk about some streaks with Iowa. The last time they won was on October 11th, 3 days over a month ago against Rutgers back here in Extreme Arena. That was also a sweep, though, so back-to-back wins for sweeps for Iowa would be cool for that program.
And Cameron Hayworth showing she can get some kills as well. That's her third kill on the night so far, to go along with 23 assists and 8 digs. That 23 assist number is pretty big. Definitely see why she broke the record for assists as a Hoosier. There's Urquhart bouncing off the hands of the Hoosiers and out of bounds.
Well, I think another note for why Indiana would want this game so bad. You look at their seniors on this team, Cameron Hayworth, who's been pivotal for their program in general, especially as they rebuild things, but Maddie Saris as well, who we've seen bring up her name a few times. They're the two seniors who have been there for 4 years and in that program. They're looking for Big Ten win number 30 as a pair, which is the first time it would happen since 2010. First 4-year senior in Indiana to get 30 wins. They would need one more in Big Ten play, of course, looking at that today, but staying so far behind. They're going to try to fight as hard as they can, but could be looking at for their next matchup.
And here is Maple. A big point for the Hoosiers. Looking to get back in this one. Malou Garcia says, nah, I'm going to take that point. Hawkeyes back up 14-12.
I mean, that's exactly what just happened, Joel. Malou Garcia has taken control out there a lot throughout the season. She stays poised, and she knows when she is a prominent point in the game. Of course, right there again, taking control of the point.
But right back at it is Maddie Saris bouncing it off Meitzler and Hannah Weddingstahl, and out of bounds for the wipe and the score for the Hoosiers. And here is Luca Fickle with the serve and the ace. Indiana ties it up at 14.
To be this close in the middle of a set, Joel, one like this, where this game has been so back and forth with a lot of energy, my goodness. I mean, Indiana has so much heart and firepower. We saw them slow at the beginning set, but after their timeout early on, Steve Aird has really got to see him in the shape.
And Hannah Weddingstahl this time able to get the kill for the Hawkeyes. Bouncing off a couple of Hoosiers on its way out of bounds. A big play.
You look at that replay there. The top spin from Weddingstahl was so strong that when you go for that dig, sure, you can get right underneath it, but you have no control of setting it up easily for your team if you're Indiana. It kicks off so far wide, and that's why you almost see it fly into the bench and stands area, because it had such a strong spin on top of the ball. Weddingstahl is fantastic with those plays. Of course, the top spin there, but usually you see her with a lot of spin to the side of the ball, almost going with a slider, if you're familiar with a baseball term, just that left to right spin. Weddingstahl overall gets a lot of strength on her hits, but uses a lot of it to change up her angles.
Weddingstahl, a key part of this team offensively and defensively. And it's Maddie Saris with that another kill.
Maddie Saris now at 13 kills on the evening. That leads both teams in that department all night long. She has really stepped up for this Indiana team. Not the name we brought up too much beforehand or early on, but she's grown as the game has.
And Indiana, another point, this time taking a lead.
Well, not only are they feeding off those high energy hits, but their bench is feeding into it. They're all getting excited. They're cheering each other on. This team is feeding off each other. That's why they go on such streaks, because they all feel a little bit more confident with each other.
The Hawkeyes with a big response, something that Jim Barnes is definitely happy to see. It's not a high-intensity point. Like, the Hawkeyes don't need to win this one, but they are sticking in there battling. They want that sweep.
They want it quickly, too, because, I mean, the quicker you can get out, the better, the more confident you feel. You don't feel like you give up a lousy set, and they get that strength there from Alyssa Ward and can shut down an Indiana team.
Saris blocked at the net. Hoosiers keep it alive. Saris gets another try. Here's Warden tapping it over. Saris keeping it alive, and that'll be the fourth hit on the Hoosiers. The Hawkeyes with a quick couple of points to retake the lead.
Well, they've been playing so quick all game that they want to win this third set because you don't want to feel like you fall apart and you can't complete a full match against a Big Ten team, especially because both teams want to finish out strong, and if you win in 3 sets, you feel like you can beat some pretty good Big Ten programs.
And Alyssa Warden will hit it out of bounds. The Hoosiers tie it right back up on the attack era from the Hawkeyes.
It's like no one will take a vital lead. Both teams responding well, setting back up defensively. The offenses on both sides have continued to be very strong. And, of course, we mentioned it towards the top of the broadcast. Whatever team defensively could step up most likely would win their sets, and that's what's been happening. So far, both are stepping up, and it's been back and forth.
And there's Jenna Meitzler getting on the kill chart. A big kill for the Hawkeyes. Here's a serve from Meitzler. Hawkeyes nursing a 1-point lead. Blocked by Warden, but out of bounds. The Hoosiers tie it right back up.
Again, just back and forth. Indiana there getting a little bit of help. Of course, that block falling out of play, but that's just another misread. Iowa can't get lackluster on some of their plays.
It's Gibson's turn, though. And Iowa and Indiana in a back-and-forth battle late here in set number 3.
Yeah, forget about being lackluster. I mean, I wouldn't even call that last play it, but the strength there might as well make you eat your words. Of course, another strong hit there again from Gibson.
The Hoosiers getting it back over on the tough serve. There's Urquhart. Tapped up and over and off the hands of the Hoosiers and out of bounds.
Well, finally, a team has taken a 2-point lead after going so back and forth, and I think this will be one of the more important points of the entire set. Can they go up by 3, or will Indiana still make this back and forth? This could determine who pulls away in the third set.
And a big hit from Garcia. It was a miss hit on the Hoosiers that laid it up for Garcia. And she got the kill, the 3-point lead, and Indiana will answer with the time. Good teams with the Hawkeyes as well with a tough schedule. They got Nebraska on deck as well, and 2 other top 25 teams they'll have to deal with to end the year. But back in this one, the Hoosiers will go a little long, and now the Hawkeyes extend their lead to 4.
Well, one thing Steve Aird preaches to his team right there in that situation is to have your energy, come out and fly towards the ball. And, of course, that's what they did, but you got to make sure you still stay within yourself and not hit it too far to where it goes out of play.
Meitzler sets it up for Garcia. Tapped up. Saved, though, by the Hoosiers. Alyssa Warden digs it out, and she gets a chance to hit off the net. Somehow kept up by Urquhart. The Hoosiers try again. Dug out by Warden, and Garcia will go a little long for the Hawkeyes.
Well, the awkward positioning there, Garcia knew she couldn't put too much umph behind that hit there. Had to stay a little behind, go down towards the floor instead of going up towards the ball a little bit to make that hit. So she tries to lump it over, but still create some spin on it. Instead, she wasn't able to get a lot of top spin, and it was slow top spin to where it just floats all the way out of play.
Yeah, and it was a really chaotic point for the Hawkeyes there. A lot going on, a lot of saves, keeping the point alive, but the Hoosier relentless attack gives them the point. A serve from their top server, Hayworth. Returned by the Hawkeyes. And the big hit blocked by Garcia. Kept up by Gary. And again, a big hit off the hands of the Hawkeyes. Indiana back in it.
The strength there from Indiana may have been the most pivotal thing to get that point, because if it wasn't hit as strong as it was, Gallus going for that dig was just a little behind.
Looking to get a sweep, the first one in just over a month for the Hawkeyes. But the Hoosiers trying to stay alive. How do they do it late?
Well, I think it's just playing quicker, going towards that defense as strong as they have been. That last point was a prime example for Indiana because they had so much strength behind that ball, and they went towards the back line. Iowa keeps creeping up defensively as rallies continue, so if Indiana can find their way further back towards that back line, it looks like they can earn a few more points.
And a big service error there. That's huge for the Hawkeyes.
Well,
3-point.
That was the exact idea there for Indiana, going towards that back line. Iowa was further back than on that set there to receive it, but just so enough room that Indiana could try to attack it. Now a challenge by Indiana to see if that landed on the line or just was a little too far.
Well, you might as well challenge it if it's close here late in this one. It was Cameron Hayworth with the serve, and she's going to be aggressive every time. I mean, she leads the program in career service aces. So that is what she does best.
Of course, because if you don't get it, not much to lose at this point, because Iowa would be 2 points away from not just a set win, but the match win. But for that timeout for Iowa, you just got to regroup yourself. I don't think Jim Barnes had too many game notes for his team, just more of a settle down for a moment, slow down Indiana's roll, throw them off pace. But, of course, they've had a lot of great pace today, especially from Candela Alonzo Corsellis with 7 kills on 27 attacks. We talked about her offensive ability in the open of tonight's broadcast, and, of course, continuing to be so strong today.
And so coming out of the replay, there was a little switch in a call, a little mistake there by the referee. It'll be Hawkeye point, call stands, and the Hawkeyes lead 23-20.
Yeah, the official immediately pointed towards Indiana's side saying the call was overturned, but changed up, made a mistake, and Jim Barnes was about to have a few questions, put his hand over his heart. And well, with where we're sitting, Joel, we're pretty lined up with that back line where it was, and it looked to just miss there, so I think they get that call right, and Iowa's still now 2 points away from the match victory.
And they got their libero serving for them. Joy Gallus looking to close it out. The big hit with the kill. Alonzo Corsellis keeping the Hoosier hopes alive.
That heart that they play with has been nothing but understated today. Going with that strength there towards the outside, flying back in, knowing that it's going to bounce off the blocker. That's a really good setup there from Steve Aird and his team going from the outside. A really good game plan late here in the third set.
Here's Garcia tapping it over. It's on the Hoosiers. It looked like they were ready for it, but they had a violation, I believe a net violation on the Hoosiers. Now the Hawkeyes are 1 point away from getting a sweep. It'll be Malou Garcia, the freshman star for the Hawkeyes serving. Meitzler sets it up for Weddingstall. And out of bounds just inside the lines. The Hawkeyes get the sweep